So thank you all for being here with us this evening to get some information on our traditional BSN virtual open house. Before we get started, we have our Associate Dean of Undergraduate Academics, Dr. Brad Phillips, here with us to give you a brief welcome. So Dr. Phillips.
Thanks, Philip. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for considering WVU for your education, but more importantly, for considering nursing as your career choice. I've been a nurse for almost 15 years, and I have loved every second of it. And we are extremely proud of our BSN program at WVU School of Nursing. And we will quickly learn why once Philip and Dr. Keener give their presentation. But we have a lot of great faculty who support students through their journey. And we are so grateful that you are here and look forward to hearing your questions and hopefully seeing you on campus soon. So welcome.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Phillips. So let's go ahead and give the run of the show here real quick to kind of give you an idea of some of the information that we'll be covering here today. First, we'll start with some introductions with our student ambassadors and faculty and support staff that are with us here today. And then we'll go over all of the academic programs that we do offer here within the West Virginia University School of Nursing. Then we'll go over next steps within the admissions and applications process. And then we'll talk about the actual admissions process for the initial nursing program. Then we'll talk about the graduation timelines, what to expect there. And then, as Dr. Phillips mentioned, Tina and Telkina will go over some information on the curriculum. And then we'll have a short Q&A session with our student ambassadors to give you an idea of who they are. We'll talk about our STEP simulation lab. We'll talk about ways to stay involved here within the School of Nursing. We'll talk about our Kaiser and Beckley campus. We'll talk about facts and figures within the program in the School of Nursing. And then we'll finish up discussing our laptop program requirement for our Morgantown campus. And then we'll round up with a Q&A session for everybody here today. So we'll go ahead and do some introductions from our student ambassadors. So we'll let them just kind of introduce themselves down the line here. So Kylie, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Kylie. I'm a senior nursing student from Bowie, Maryland.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bella Botero. I'm a senior here, and I'm from Lansdale, Pennsylvania, which is about 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia.
Hey guys, my name's Ella. I am a senior at the Morgantown campus at WVU, and I'm from Fairmont.
Everybody, my name is Bella Bach, and I am a junior at the Morgantown campus, and I am from Fairmont, West Virginia.
Hi, my name's Caitlin. I'm a senior in the nursing program at the Beckley campus, and I'm from Shady Spring, West Virginia.
Now, since you know who our ambassadors are, we'll move on to our faculty and staff. So you've met Dr. Brad Phillips already. So we'll start with you, Tina.
I'm Tina Antel Keener, and I'm the director of the BSN program. Sorry, that was too short. April, if you want to go now.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I am April Shapiro, so I oversee the nursing program on the Kaiser campus. Again, welcome.
And unfortunately, Hillary Parcell, our Beckley campus chairperson, wasn't able to be here with us tonight, but she would usually be included in this as well.
That means I'm up. Hi, everyone. I'm Caitlin Delegetti, Director of Admissions. I will be manning the chat here. So as Philip goes along in this presentation, I'll try and provide some links if you need some additional information. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or wait until the end.
And then my name is Philip Engelmeyer. I am the Director of Recruitment and Retention here within the School of Nursing. So first, we'll talk about the programs that we offer here within the School of Nursing at WVU. So obviously, you guys are here for our traditional BSN program, which is offered on our Beckley, Kaiser, and Morgantown campuses. We do have an accelerated BSN, otherwise known as an ABSN program. It's for students that have earned a degree in another field, but are now considering a career in nursing. This is offered on our Bridgeport United Hospital Center campus, which is about probably 30 minutes south of Morgantown, and then obviously our main campus here in Morgantown. We do have an online RN to BSN program for students that have a associate's or diploma earned, but now want to finish that BSN. Then we do have an LPN to BSN bridge program for students that have an LPN earned, but want to earn that BSN. This is a hybrid hybrid program that is offered online, but there are some in-person components with that, and it does take place on our Kaiser campus. And then from graduate programs, we have our Master of Science in Nursing, otherwise known as an MSN program, features a family nurse practitioner certification. We have a post-MSN program that features a family nurse practitioner, psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and nurse executive leadership. That program is online. We have a Doctor of Nursing Practice, otherwise known as a DNP program. We have a DNP Nurse Anesthetist program, which everybody kind of calls CRNA. That program is hybrid, and it is our only program that takes place in person. Then we have a nursing PhD program as well, which is hybrid, but this one is mostly online with a couple in-person components added to it. So what you guys are here for today is our traditional BSN program. So we're going to walk you through how to apply to the university and next steps from that period. So obviously, most of you have applied to the university already. If not, that would be your first step. You can apply two ways, basically, through the common application or just directly through the university. Once you apply, you want to make sure you submit high school transcripts, ACT scores, SAT scores, TEAS scores, AP credits, dual enrollment credits. So basically other supplemental documents at that point. If you decide to come to WVU or are leaning coming to WVU, we encourage you to pay your academic deposit. You can see the amounts there, and that basically just tells the university and the School of Nursing that you at this time intend to come to WVU, and that does allow you to start the housing process if you do fall outside of that commuting radius, which I think covers maybe 5 or 6 counties between West Virginia and maybe a couple in Pennsylvania as well. Then it allows you to register for new student orientation. That takes place in June, but the registration will open in the spring. New student orientation is basically where you meet with your advisor, schedule for the fall, and kind of finalize everything for that upcoming fall semester. So process for admittance. So students are admitted into what we call basically first-time freshman tracks or pathways for the freshman year. They are direct admit, pre-nursing, or health and well-being here in Morgantown. Beckley has direct admit, pre-nursing, or general education. Kaiser, I believe, just only has the pre-nursing, and there might be one other pathway, Dr. Spiro.
Yes, pre-BSN or pre-nursing.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And then, so what you do is you complete prerequisites in the freshman year from these pathways. So for direct admit students, they're completing those prerequisites to try to keep their seat, whereas pre-nursing, health and well-being, general education, pre-BSN, and Kaiser, they're competing to earn a seat into the program. The official decisions for the program are made in March of the spring semester of your freshman year. So that's when you officially are admitted into the actual nursing program. So you know basically by the time you finish your freshman year where you officially stand. So requirements for these first-time freshman pathways, you can see direct admit basically has a couple different options. So if you have 3.6 GPA or higher and you take an ACT or an SAT, you can see those scores that are necessary. If you want to take what's called the TEAS test, you would need a 3.8 GPA, and you can see the score necessary for the TEAS test for that direct admit pathway. Pre-nursing has a few different options. This is where most of the students start the program. So they have if you can be admitted if you have a 3.6 GPA or higher. If you have higher than a 3.2, but lower than a 3.6, you can see the scores that are necessary from an ACT or SAT standpoint. But you can also take the TEAS test as well for pre-nursing if you have a 3.0 GPA or higher. So if students don't meet direct admit or pre-nursing requirements, you would be placed into health and well-being or general education or PBSN on either the Morgantown, Beckley, or Kaiser campus. We can update your pathways. So, I have the example there. If a student meets the GPA requirements for direct admit, but as of now, you don't have the test scores, but maybe you get those later, we can update your application. So we can always update those documents if GPA and or test scores improve. So you can just keep in touch with me about all of that, and we'll get that make sure that application stays updated. So graduation timelines for our program. So if you start in the fall, Morgantown, Beckley, and Kaiser, it is a 4-year program. If you start in the spring semester here in Morgantown, it does add 1 additional semester. Now the credits remain the same, 122 credit hours. You're just spacing that over an additional semester. So if you have your year of prerequisites during the freshman year, that's basically fall 1 semester in the sophomore year, would take courses that are necessary for our progression plan, but not the nursing classes. And then you would start the nursing program in that spring semester. So it does add 1 semester, extra semester if you start in the spring semester here in Morgantown. So now I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to turn this over to Tina and let her go over the curriculum. So Tina.
You know, after how many years of doing Zoom, you would think that I could come off mute immediately. So I am so happy to see all the boxes on my screen here. Thank you for joining us tonight. And this is exciting for me because this is the first time I'm getting to introduce our newly kind of redesigned curriculum. So actually some of our ambassadors, this may be the first time that they're seeing this as well. There's some small tweaks that we've made in our curriculum, and all of you in the Zoom room as you go through the program will be part of these new changes. So as Philip was mentioning, this is a 4-year program. So in that first year, semester 1, first year, semester 2, you're not within like the nursing program or the nursing courses. So you're taking chemistry, lab 1, biology, intro to psychology, introduction to the profession and discipline of nursing, algebra, and a freshman seminar, excuse me, taking about 14 or 15 credits during that first semester. And then first semester 2, I have it labeled 1, but it's 2, sorry. Chemistry in lab 2, introduction to human anatomy and physiology. And here's where you take either the intro to psych again, or you would take your introduction to the profession and discipline of nursing, English 101, and statistics. So this semester is about 16 to 17 credits. So after these 2 semesters is whenever, if you meet the criteria, then you are admitted into the nursing program, which would be your 2nd year. And within that first semester of that 2nd year is whenever you have nursing foundation and lifespan assessment. These will be your 2 main nursing courses. Within these courses, you'll spend time within the skills lab and the steps lab that I know Philip's going to be talking about in upcoming slides here. And you'll actually be in the hospital during this semester as well. So these courses, this is a new part of our curriculum. At one time, this was a combined course, but now it's separated out into 2 courses. You'll also be taking human development, introduction to human anatomy and physiology 2, and medical microbiology. So I'll draw your attention to the picture here. This is actually Kylie's in there too. A picture that was taken this semester and during the first semester here in the sophomore year. So I think they were learning how to take blood pressures at this time. During the 2nd semester of your 2nd year, you'll take fundamentals of nursing. During this course, you'll spend time in the skills lab and you'll be spending time in the hospital. That time in the hospital is 1 clinical day a week. This is when you start to really get into doing a lot of your skills, things such as, injections, tubes in different parts of your body, giving medications, changing dressings. So this is a really exciting time for students. I still remember that, and this was back in 1994 during these courses, whenever I was learning all those exciting skills and coming home and trying to practice some. So I think this is whenever people get very excited about their nursing education. Also within this semester, we principles of pharmacology, introduction nutrition, and English 102. So then moving on into your third year or your junior year is when you get into even more intense clinical time within the hospital. So you'll have alterations in adult health and alterations in mental health and well-being. And within these courses, you'll be in clinical 2 days a week. We do them in 5-week blocks here in Morgantown. You'll also be taking evidence-based practice and nursing scholarship, and a general education course. So your general education courses they have a variety of courses that you can choose from things that you are interested in taking. Semester 2 of your junior year, you have alterations in adult health 2, pediatrics and family-centered care, which is actually the course that I teach and coordinate. Again, the clinical time is 2 days a week throughout this semester. You'll also be taking professional standards of nursing care, once called ethics. Learning all the standards that we are held to as nurses. And you'll also be taking another general education course during this semester. Your senior year, another exciting course for many people would be your women's health and newborn nursing care, because it is so different, just like pediatrics, getting to work with a different population. And this is when you're introduced to the maternal and newborn is in your senior year. The clinical experience is a little bit different because it's not, it's kind of spread throughout the whole semester. So I can't say it's how many days per week. So it's a new way that they're doing it, but it's approximately 1 day of women's health and newborn nursing experience each week throughout the semester. You'll also be taking population health and healthcare policy course. This is an exciting course that students go and they work in the community with a preceptor. Usually one-on-one. Sometimes there's a site that you'll have 2 nursing students there, but typically it's one-on-one with a preceptor. You'll spend about 135 clinical hours with this preceptor. And this is such an important part of what we do as nurses, because many times we think of nurses as only in the hospital setting, but actually nurses are all over, and we really are focused on preventing and working with populations outside of the hospital so we can prevent them going into the hospital. So students develop a really nice capstone project. I think students go into it with a little bit of like, oh, I can't believe I have to do all of this, but they come out of it learning so much and feeling, I think, such joy and reward from what they're able to accomplish during that time. For those who will be coming to the Morgantown campus, up until this point, our clinical sites are really close. So oftentimes you can walk to places, to your clinical sites. However, at this time in your the curriculum, you do need to have a reliable car because our community sites are located, away from campus, up to about an hour and a half away. Typically, you do not have to travel an hour and a half away, but it can be some distance. You'll also be taking a nursing elective during your senior year. We have so many to choose from. I'll just give you a few of them. Would be a complex care of the pediatric patient, and Dr. Phillips teaches that course. I teach the role of the nurse in the patient experience. We have simulation elective. We have a technology where you can learn advanced technology. So there's lots of different electives that you may choose from and something that interests you. And again, you'll take a general education course at this time. And then lastly, getting ready to graduate, you have alterations in adult health 3. This is really focused on the care of the critical care patient, once called critical care, but now it's alterations in adult health 3. So you'll spend about 2 weeks in a critical care unit. And also the whole class is really focused on that complex care of in critical care. How many times can I say critical care in one slide? The next thing is personal and professional leadership development, another exciting course where you spend 225 clinical hours with a preceptor within a hospital setting. So this is one-on-one, and you follow this nurse's shifts, whether it be night shift, weekend shifts, day shift, whatever it is, and you really get a feel for what it's like to work as a nurse. Because up to that point, you know, you're with a faculty member, and you kind of had these dedicated time frames. But here in leadership, you really embody that role of being a nurse. Comprehensive NCLEX review. This prepares our students for the NCLEX. So when you graduate, you will be a graduate nurse. In order to practice as a nurse, you have to take the NCLEX to become and pass the NCLEX to become a registered nurse, to be able to work as a registered nurse. You know, and I'm sure we're going to be talking, but our pass rates are great, typically over 98%. So we prepare you well, but this is actually a really nice review of everything. Not only is it a review throughout the semester, we do a live review. So someone comes in and kind of gives you a really intense couple-day live review of what to expect on the NCLEX. All right. So any questions about the curriculum before I go on? Let me see in the chats here. You can put it in chat as well. No questions? Okay. So I guess some take homes, you're in clinical in the hospital setting in your first semester, sophomore semester. So we get you in there and get you that experience early. And also that you have a vast variety of experiences in pediatrics, in mental health, OB, community, critical care, and that top it off, you have that precepted leadership. So quickly, I want to go over the different student resources we have at WVU School of Nursing. I think first, I am fortunate to work with an amazing team. All of us, faculty, academic advisors, the staff, we are here for students. We really are dedicated to your success. So we have an open door policy, open, phone, email policy. If you need something, you come to us, and we want you to come to us, and rather than waiting. So we're very supportive, and we want you to be successful. The other things that we have developed in order to for you to achieve success is a SOAR. This is a peer coaching program, and it's something that all incoming sophomore students will be assigned a peer coach. So peer coaches will either be juniors or seniors within the nursing program. And the coaches have a little mentee team of 2 to 4 sophomore students, and they make weekly contact with them and give them the support that they need. This is really supporting the person, although I'm sure part of it is academics too. They talk about organizing and studying and all of that, but it's really keeping that person supported through that transition into the nursing program, because it can be different, because test-taking strategies may need to change compared to what you did in your freshman year or what you did as a high school student. So it's a really, I think it's a nice program for even the coaches as well. I get a lot of great feedback from the coaches, just being able to support the sophomores coming in. And also peer tutoring. Peer tutoring is done by our current nursing students most often. We have had rare occasions where students who have just graduated, who have served as peer tutors, have come back and tutored for senior level classes, but typically there are students who are currently in the program. Tutors are paid at the time $10 an hour for tutoring, and they're recommended by the faculty. They typically meet with students, their 2Ds, at least 3 times through the semester, but not more than once a week. And peer tutoring is free for the students. Okay, and the other thing is Student Nurses Association, or the SNA. This is really a nice program to get involved with. There is a small annual fee. I could be wrong, but I think it's like $10 or $15. It may be a little bit more than that now, but it really promotes connectiveness and allows students to meet with students throughout the different levels of the program and also develop leadership skills because they are oftentimes the leaders within the SNA. And then we have an academic counselor. Her name is Arden Sear, and she is one of our nursing faculty. She is there to help you in learning, test taking strategies, again, that may be new to you, since nursing questions can sometimes be a little bit different, can also help you with studying strategies, maybe how to organize your time, how to even keep a calendar. I mean, she does all these wonderful things to support student success. And it's just overall to help you academically. So she's a really wonderful resource. And I said that it's Arden on the Morgantown campus, but every campus has their own academic counselor that serves the different campuses. All right. I hope that didn't take too long, Philip, but thank you. If you have any questions about the curriculum or student resources, just put it in chat, and we may actually get to some of your questions too as the student ambassadors talk to. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina, for sharing information on the progression and as well as the student resources. So I'm going to share my screen here, get this back up. All right, so now we're going to go over our student ambassador experience, have a Q&A session with them to give you an idea of, why they came to WVU, what their experiences are, and any, anything else they would like to share with you. So we'll start with Miss Kylie Dick. So what were important factors when choosing an institution with, a nursing program for you?
So one of the first things I looked at was I just wanted to be out of state. So obviously that checked the box for me. And then I was looking at a program that would start in the sophomore year, versus the junior year. Some of the other colleges I looked at didn't start till the junior year, so I really wanted to make sure I could get in and have the most clinical experience possible. So that's really the main reason why I came to WVU.
Thank you, Kylie. And this one is for Ella. What was the ultimate reason you chose the School of Nursing at WVU?
Hi, everyone. So one of the main things that led me to make my decision to come to WVU was the awesome opportunities we have for clinical. I truly have felt like I've seen every aspect of nursing. Some things that I like a little bit more than others, but I've really gotten to see like all the different parts of nursing, both in the hospital and out of the hospital. And also, like Dr. Keener mentioned, there's so many support systems at WVU. So there's always someone that will help you if you ever need help.
Thank you, Ella. And Miss Bella Botero, this is for you. What admissions pathway did you come into as a first-time freshman? Was it direct admit, pre-nursing, something else?
So I came in as a pre-nursing student. I came in a little bit after the COVID year, so I didn't take an SAT, worked through my freshman year and ended up obtaining a spot in the fall semester of my sophomore year.
And Miss Bella Bach, do you have a favorite clinical so far? If so, which one and why?
Hi, everybody. So my favorite clinical so far is actually what I'm currently in. I am at a med-surg/trauma floor, and I feel like I have learned so much. I'm somebody that likes a high-paced environment, so getting to be about 10 weeks, because I've had 2 5-week blocks on a med-surg trauma floor, getting to see that has really like broadened my experience and has really made me want to go into more of a trauma nurse.
And Caitlin, this is for you. So what was appealing to you about the Beckley campus, and how are your experiences so far on the Beckley campus?
So what was appealing to me with the Beckley campus is that it's actually close to my hometown. That was like a big aspect to me whenever I was picking colleges. So I like that it was close to hometown and then I can still get an actual WVU degree even being at a different campus. But my experience has been really good so far. I really enjoyed it here. It's a smaller school, like our classes are like smaller, so everyone kind of really gets to know everybody. It's really close. We have a lot of community involvement. We do a lot within the community and like Thanksgiving baskets, Day cards, just a variety of things. And then we also still do get to see a whole lot, even being like a smaller town. We travel outside for our clinicals, so you still get a lot of experience and get to see a lot of variety of things.
Thank you, Caitlin. So this is for everybody. We'll start with you, Kylie. Did you have an idea of where you wanted to work when you started the program? Has that stayed the same or has that changed as you've progressed through the program?
Philip always laughs at me because I used to say I had no idea what I wanted to do. I really liked my pediatric rotation. I thought coming in I might like labor and delivery. I did not really like that, so that one was out of the picture. I liked a lot of what I got to see, but I had a rotation on our orthopedic unit over at Ruby, and I really liked that. I CA'd there over the summer, and then I actually accepted a job position there, so that's what I'm going to be doing.
Ella, how about you?
Coming in, I've just had my mind open to anything that I've experienced. I really haven't found a place that I couldn't see myself working. I'm still really in love with working with the pediatric population and kids. Interesting enough, and people don't understand, but I'm an extern on 10 East right now, which is a neuro step down unit. And I would never see myself as a neuro nurse, but I actually really like it. So that was interesting for me.
Miss Bella Botero, anything about you?
I always laugh and make a joke out of this because I feel like every time I do this presentation, I have said something different. I have fallen in love with cardiac, and when I first came in, I absolutely hated the peds population. I'm sorry to all of my peds people on here, but I was scared of children. They made me terrified, everything about them. I ended up doing my peds class and my peds rotation, and I absolutely fell in love with the peds population. Right now, I'm currently in the process of applying for jobs back in Philadelphia to work in a pediatric ICU, and I do like kids now, so that's positive.
Bella Bach?
So my answer also does change as I go throughout the program. I really wanted to be like working in trauma, so I thought about like the cardiovascular ICU. I have not had my pediatric rotation yet, but I also love working with kids, so I thought about that or like an oncology nurse for kids. So that was something on my list, but I'm not quite sure yet.
And lastly, Caitlin, any thoughts on your career?
So when I came in, mine has changed over every semester, I think. But when I came in, I wanted to be an OR nurse actually. But I went to an OR and I realized that that was not for me. I consistently was shivering. I was just like, I can't do this. But I went through my peds rotation and I didn't know that I didn't think I'd like peds when I came through because I like them, but I didn't know if I could see them being sick. But I actually ended up really, really loving it. So that's where I'm working on applying jobs through is to peds.
And lastly, is there any other information that you would like to provide to students here? Just you guys were on the other side of this, years ago. Anything you might find helpful for them?
Something that I always say when I'm talking to people coming in, there's always three pieces of advice I give. The first one is I always recommend getting a planner. It helps me stay organized and I just write down everything I have to do for the week, due dates and all that fun stuff. And then the second one is find a study group that you get along with real well and you guys can work together on studying for your exams, preparing, finding different study methods and all that stuff. And then lastly, find time for yourself still. Like manage your time with school, get all your school stuff done, but still find time to do things that you want to do to help your mental health and everything.
One thing that I always like to share is that I mean, and I'm happy that Dr. Keener also talked about the student resources, but I'll just bounce onto that. I'm a huge advocate for taking advantage of everything that your university, regardless if you come to WVU or you go somewhere else, take advantage of all of the things that they have to offer for you. I have used almost every single School of Nursing resource, and I've learned a lot from everybody that I've worked with. I also use a lot of the campus resources. I'm a first gen student, so I work a lot of like close with my first gen counselors. I know there's people that go for help with veterans, there's things like that. So wherever you fall, there is so much support within the WVU community. You can find people, you can find clubs and find time and find your hobbies. So that's what I always like to say.
All right. Thank you all very much for that helpful information. So we'll keep on progressing through. So now I'd like to talk about our simulation lab here on the Morgantown campus. So we have what's called a STEP simulation lab. Don't ask me what STEP stands for. I forget it all the time, but it is a great facility, has 20,000 square feet of learning space. Inside of that 20,000 square feet of learning space, there are 4 ICU simulation rooms. There are 2 10-bed open lab spaces. We call that area our skills lab. We spend a big portion of your sophomore year. We have 12 patient exam rooms. They basically just look like a little doctor's office, essentially. We practice communication and assessment and things like that. We have an OB pediatric sim room, and so we call that our mother-child suite. So you learn about labor and delivery and things like that. We have a surgical skills unit and a fully functioning operating room as well. So have a really nice setup here in Morgantown where students get some really good experiences before they head out into the actual facilities. So now we'll talk about ways to stay involved. Tina talked about Student Nurses Association. It's a great organization to be a part of as a student for student resources, but it also has some travel opportunities. If you're on the presidential board or whatever that they have there, you can travel. They have a yearly conference and it's hosted in different areas. So I know some areas have been in Orlando, Nashville, Salt Lake City, Utah, that some of our students have been able to travel to. Honors College is another good organization that a lot of our students are part of. They have their own residence halls on campus with their own tutoring centers inside of them. They get to schedule before everybody else as well. And you don't have to do it all 4 years. You can do it the first 2 years through the Honors Foundation program, or you can do all 4 years with the Honors Excel program as well. We do have some study abroad options. We're happy to announce we have a full semester option in Cyprus at the University of Nicosia for direct admit students. They complete the spring semester prerequisites abroad at the University of Nicosia. If that's something that, maybe you don't necessarily want to do, we still have options during university breaks. So winter break, spring break, summer break, things like that. So Brazil, Cyprus, Ecuador, England, Honduras, Japan, Panama, Spain, and Vietnam. So we have those options and we're always expanding. Spain is our newest one that we have as well. And then also anything else that interests you. I know Bella Botero, I think you're part of what is TRIO for first generation students. Kylie's in a sorority. Ella is one of our peer tutors that Tina had mentioned before. So all of our students do find ways to stay involved with things, outside of nursing. So now we'll turn it over to Dr. April Shapiro to go over some information on Kaiser. So Dr. Shapiro.
Yes, hi everybody. Thank you. Yeah, so a lot of the things that Philip and Tina talked about, of course, we have right here on the Kaiser campus as well. So we're a smaller department. We're a faculty and staff of 9. And again, you can complete all 4 years here on campus. We have a skills and simulation lab as well. So in our skills lab, we have 6 beds that are set up similar to the STEP Center in Morgantown. And then we have 4 high fidelity, high technology simulators. A couple that we use for med surg, one that we use for maternal infant, and then we have one used for pediatrics. So, just a state of the science lab that you can learn in, build your confidence in, and get those clinical judgment skills going from the get-go. So you're in that lab starting in sophomore year and then advance up to simulation through later sophomore into junior and senior year. So we call it our mannequin family. So if you ever want to come visit Kaiser, I'll introduce you to each member of our mannequin family. We're really proud of them and very thankful to have our skills lab. Our students come to Kaiser because they want, a little bit more of a rural experience. So we tend to get a lot of students that, live in the area. The clinical experiences are very, broad. You visit a lot of different facilities. So we go from large teaching hospitals to small rural critical access points. So we use all of the local hospitals and nursing homes for good, well-rounded experiences, follow the same progression plan as Morgantown. We do start out in sophomore year in nursing homes and give you some rotations through surgery. And then we get into the hospital settings in junior and senior year. So we're using Potomac Valley Hospital, we're using Hampshire, we're using Grant, we're using Ruby for some experiences. We use UPMC Western Maryland. So just a wide variety. Garrett. So it does involve some travel, but our students usually do not travel longer than about an hour. But that just depends on where they live. Our students come from all over because we are more rural. They come from West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania. So we're kind of right centrally located to all of those areas. And we have, again, all the experiences that you talked about, a lot of support services from peer coaching, peer tutoring, academic counseling, all of the things that were mentioned. We have, an active honors program, both foundation and Excel. So one thing that's unique about, our distant campuses, Kaiser and Beckley, even though you're on these campuses, you're actually a WVU School of Nursing Morgantown student. So that's where your degree comes. You are attending class on these rural campuses, but your degree in the very last semester, your transcript gets converted to Morgantown. So your degree comes from WVU Morgantown. So you can take advantage, of a lot of things. I feel like we have the best of both worlds. We, of course, we're part of the large university, but we're on a smaller, more rural campus. So you have that family feel, if that's something that's important to you. And just like our other campuses, we have Sigma Nursing Honor Society. So that induction is done junior and senior year. So for those students that, again, want to kind of showcase or want to, really advance their education through honors and Sigma. So I just, our graduates, we are the newest campus when it comes to traditional BSN. So we graduated our first group in 21. So 2025 will be our 5th graduating class. So our graduates are out and about in the world. So we have them anywhere from West Virginia down into Florida and over into Ohio. So they're going out and working usually in hospital settings. We have many at Ruby. We have some at Mon. We have some at Winchester Medical Center. So they're all over the place. Wexner in Ohio. So they're in specialties that they love. You talked about, maternal newborn. We have many that are in that area. Some in ICUs, cardiovascular units, all kinds of areas. So just a really rich experience. I encourage you, again, reach out for any questions that you have for me. And so again, welcome and let us know how we can help you find your path in nursing.
Thank you,
I
Dr.
would also I'd just like to say one more thing. I'm sorry, Emily Kirkendall, our ambassador, could not be with us tonight. She had to work, but she has echoed over and over about kind of the same things that you heard from our Beckley ambassador, that she really wanted to be somewhere close to home and a smaller, more rural campus. And she is very active. She's an AHEC scholar. She's an honors Excel student. She's a peer coach. So again, you can get as involved as you want to, and she juggles many things and does so very well and is really enriched in her experience. So there's so much for you, student organizations above and beyond what we've discussed here. So.
Well, thank you for that information, Dr. Shapiro. As I mentioned, Hillary Porcel, our Beckley chairperson, was not able to make it this evening. If you want to ID who she is, in that picture, she's in the middle and the top back. But between Caitlin and myself, we'll try to give you some information on the Beckley campus. So our Beckley campus is on the campus of the West Virginia University Institute of Technology campus in Beckley, West Virginia. It's in the southeastern part of the state, and it's just about 20 minutes south from the newest national park, the New River Gorge National Park. So it's in one of the more beautiful places in the state here of West Virginia. The WVU Tech has about probably 1,500-ish 30-ish students, I would probably say. So like Caitlin had said, it is a little bit of a smaller program. And like Dr. Spiro said, you know, their program and the progression is the same regardless of what, you know, whatever campus you go to. So the classes that Tina had mentioned before, those are going to be the same classes you take on that Beckley campus as well. So Caitlin, do you have anything else to add that maybe I had missed?
Maybe about our clinicals. We do travel some for all of them. We do hit nursing homes and hospitals and some other places. We went to rehab places and just like places like that in our community and that are close to the campus. But we also travel out to Charleston for CAMC, Women's and Children, and General, and you go to a variety of stuff there. But for most of the students, I know in my class, it's only about an hour, hour and a half-ish drive, but from the campus, it's only about an hour-ish drive. So we kind of stay the same as Kaiser and Morgantown, but we do go out for clinical stuff sometimes.
And if you're ever interested in visiting any of our campuses, I know some of you probably have already, but just reach out to me or Dr. Shapiro or or Hillary Parcell. We're all happy to help set up visits to any one of these 3 campuses. So we'll get into some data, some talking points here about our program. We do have the #1 ranked program in the state of West Virginia, according to registerednursing.org. And registerednursing.org actually came out with some recent rankings that kind of surprised me. I knew we had a good program, but wasn't sure it would be top 15. So they rank everybody basically up to 100, and they gave us a score of a 98.54, which places us as a top 15 program nationally. So we have a really good program here at WVU. Not surprisingly, 100% job placement rate. As you heard, Kylie has already attained a job probably as of, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. So our students can get jobs really early, and that's one of the most appealing things about nursing is that return on an investment. 99% first-time pass rate on the NCLEX. Our Beckley campus had 100% in the spring. I don't know if data has been out for our Kaiser or Morgantown campus yet. I know Kaiser had 100% last year in 2023. Morgantown was 99 or 100 as well. So we do have an excellent NCLEX pass rate. That's the highest that you'll find nationally. Graduation rate has 91. That was for the last year that I have data for. It's always going to kind of fluctuate around that 85-ish percent range. We do retain and graduate most of the students to start our program. A lot of times the students might leave the program, you know, just because you start the clinicals in the sophomore year. And as Bella Botero like to say, you take in the smells of the hospital, and that might make students, you know, find a different career option at that point. You know, once you start working with cadavers and catheters and things like that, might push you into another profession. But we do retain and graduate most of the students to start our program. Then here from Morgantown is the priority clinical placement with WVU Medicine. So our students are guaranteed to have that. We're not competing for spots with other schools. We have that guaranteed clinical placement at Ruby Memorial Hospital. And what is so appealing about that? Well, it is the largest hospital in the state of West Virginia. It's a level 1 trauma hospital, and it's also magnet recognized, which is the highest honor that a hospital can receive. So as a future nurse, working at a magnet recognized hospital wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. They're usually paid the best. There's low turnover, low grievances. They have better patient care outcomes and things like that. United Hospital Center in Bridgeport, West Virginia, like I mentioned, is about 30 minutes south of here. It was nationally ranked 2 years for 2 years running. So we have 2 really great facilities within 30 minutes here in Morgantown. And then WVU Medicine is the largest healthcare provider in West Virginia. They have facilities in Maryland, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia. And that leads to networking opportunities, which leads to employments as well. And WVU Medicine is pretty generous in some of their new nurse sign-on bonuses and student loan reimbursement. I believe they offer up to $15,000 in sign-on bonuses and up to $26,000 in student loan reimbursement. And then they have these things called retention bonuses. If you work through the first, 3-year work contract, and I believe if you work for them for 5 years, they'll pay for 100% of continuing education. So like if grad school is something that you want to do, keep that in mind as well. So those are some data and talking points about our program. And then we'll lastly wrap up with our laptop program requirement for the Morgantown campus only. This is not for Beckley and Kaiser, but when you start the program, you were provided an Apple MacBook Air Pro, and you were charged a one-time fee for that laptop. That's just kind of to make it easy on the IT department to service thousands of laptops that come through the Health Science Center. If they've seen one issue, they've seen it 100 or 1,000 times. So it just makes it easier for our IT department to repair those laptops. It's not a rental, it's your laptop. You've paid for it. It's about $1,500. It's a one-time fee for that. So some options for the freshman year, since you cannot get it during the freshman year. If you own a laptop, that's going to be the easiest thing to do. If you don't own a laptop now, maybe find a used or refurbished laptop for a little bit more of an affordable option. You can go out and buy a new one if you want and you have that ability. But the university has resources. They have desktops in every residence hall and building on campus. And I believe you can rent laptops from the library as well. So just work through those cost-efficient options for that freshman year. And so that will conclude our presentation. So you can find my contact information there, phone number, email address. We do have our social channels, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So if you want to keep up to speed with what's going on within the School of Nursing, you can check out our social channels. So right now, I'm going to stop recording.